Ericka.
Hi guys, I'm Jeiel.
And today we're gonna be reacting to Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is a movie about, well, mean girls in high school.
It is a teen comedy drama with spicy dialogue.
Let's go out.
I can't go out. I'm sick.
Boo, you whore.
But beyond that, it is full of commentary on the social segregation and discrimination in high school.
We will be analyzing this film using different critical communication theories. Hopefully, we will be able to unravel the message of Mean Girls.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
The film starts off by establishing Katie's background, how she grew up in Africa because her parents are research zoologists, but had to move back to the States because her mom got offered tenure at a university, and thus her high school journey begins.
She enters her homeroom, gets warned where not to sit, bumps into her teacher, and teacher mistakes a black woman to be the transfer student since supposedly the transferee is from Africa. Here we can see a branch of semiotics called social semiotics, which seeks to understand how people communicate through different mediums or ways in social settings.
In that scene, since Africa's population is mostly comprised by the blacks, she did not think twice and welcomed the only black student in her class. This idea is not only implied in her words, but is also seen through her hand gestures.
This questioning of identity can also be seen when Karen Smith, upon learning that Katie came from Africa, asked,
Why are you white?
The next day, Janice, Ian, and Damien befriends Katie and introduces the cliques in their school. Sitting on the ground, they told Katie about the plastics and described them as teen royalty. The movie then establishes the power that the plastics, especially Regina George, has over the school. This falls under hegemony, wherein a certain group has dominance over the other social groups.
Now, even with the people who belong to the highest social group, there will still be politics within that group. In the case of the plastics, they established the positions by saying that Regina George is the queen bee, the leader of the plastics. Gretchen Wieners is totally rich and knows everyone's business, somewhere in between, and that Karen Smith is the dumbest girl you'll ever meet. But since she's still pretty and rich, she is still part of the plastics, albeit the lowest among them.
They then begin to introduce to Katie the other social groups under the plastics and how they function or what they're all about by giving them group names such as Rotsy Guys, Asian Nerds, Girls Who Eat Their Feelings, and Desperate Wannabes, etc.
The plastics then solidify their position in the social hierarchy when they invited Katie to have lunch with them, saying how it really is a huge deal and that they don't do this a lot. Basically, they're implying that no one in the school is on the same level as them. Not until Katie came.
The next day comes. Katie gets introduced to the rules made by the plastics for the plastics. They went to the mall. There, Gretchen sees Jason dating another girl. Regina once again takes charge of the situation by calling the girl's mother anonymously and makes up a lie.
They then go to hang out at Regina's house, and it is here that we can see how wealthy Regina's family is, and why she belongs at the top of a social hierarchy that is determined by pretty and rich. After this, we then go to a party wherein we see Regina abuse her power over Katie by manipulating her ex into making out with her in front of Katie. This then starts the main conflict of the plot, which is Katie seeking revenge against Regina with the help of Janice and Damien.
They devise a plan to kick Regina from her pedestal and would leave her at the bottom of the hierarchy by ridding her of her popular boyfriend, hot physique, and the other plastics. Without these three factors, her influence over others would become lesser, and so their plan begins.
Their first attempts failed because Regina's influence is powerful. She knows how to manipulate people. But eventually, their plan on ruining Regina's image succeeded. Problem is, through the process of following the plan, KD had adapted Regina's ways and has started to become another version of Regina. She was becoming what she hated most.
Cold, shiny, hard plastic.
KD loses her friends, the trust of her family, still did not get the guy, and most importantly, loses what made her KD in the first place. Regina, finding out that KD sabotaged her, resorts to spreading copies of their burn book, leading to chaos ensuing in the school. To turn everything right, after finding out she became distracted by her greed of getting revenge on Regina that she essentially became her, she owns up to the burn book, makes amends with Regina, apologizes to Mrs. Norbury, and chose to participate in the mathletes, then go to prom.
Eventually, KD's team won by KD answering the tiebreaker round correctly, and she even won Homecoming Queen. But, being the reformed person that she is, she decided to share the crown with everyone, destroying the social classes. And she even ends up with her crush at the end of the film. Everything is well.
I found the portrayal of the characters to be somewhat accurate, although most scenes are exaggerated to drive the point home.
The film in the first part of the movie depicted this narratology of success, where in order to become popular or admired, one must adhere to the standards set, like becoming pretty, hot, or really rich. This thinking is then proven ineffective in the long run, that with the consequences that the film presented of wanting too much. This imagined success will likely not last long.
Even with the moral lesson conveyed at the end of the film, the plot in itself follows the standard formula of most Hollywood rom-com films. An individual comes from a humble background, gets introduced to influences that will make or break them, a conflict arises that questions the individual's true nature. But, in the end, the individual will still gain what they truly wanted because they deserve it after everything they went through. This kind of manipulated success is not likely to happen in real life. This is then a part of the culture industry, wherein those with economic advantages, in this case, the movie's producers, try to distract the audience from what is achievable in real life by feeding them the same recycled plot of imagined success.
Moving a bit away from the plot and more towards dialogue, the dialogue in the movie also shows that language can be a tool for social discrimination and segregation. Following the idea of the multi-accentuality of language, language is ideological. The different cliques always talked in a certain language unique to them, which shows what their ideology is. For example, Janice's clique use frank, rough, and pessimistic language, while Regina's clique uses sharp and judgmental language. And these are reflective of what that group's ideology is, and even serves as a badge for belonging to said group. Their language enforces the social hierarchy in the school and is key to the division of the different cliques. This all just goes to show how a simple change in how one talks, how they change your language, reflects on who you are at that moment, who you get along with, and who you will never be friends with. And towards the end, the film points out how discriminatory this language is. It makes a point to comment that this should not be the case.
Okay, so we're all here because of this book, right? Well, I don't know who wrote this book, but you all have got to stop calling each other sluts and whores. It just makes it okay for guys to call you sluts and whores.
It's pleasantly surprising that a pop culture film such as Mean Girls is able to deliver a meaningful message about social segregation and discrimination, and how it is reinforced by language, and even goes as far as to suggest that everyone would be better off without such polarized cliques.
And that's all for today.
We hope that you learned something from us.
Until
Next time, bye-bye!